terra87 from Russia against mathace from Hungary. And mathace beat advocat in the previous round, also from Russia. So it will be terra87 attempting to avenge his compatriot's loss. If anyone wants to join me in the House Party channel, that would be cool. And we could commentate together. So this is game one. I'm just getting my eye in. Okay, and hopefully the audio is good, the sound is good, and just from the look of it, it looks like a d4, d5. I missed the exact details of the opening, so just to run it from the beginning again. It's a London system with a pin b5. Okay, so he backs off then. Okay, so black seems to be doing well here with he split the pawns, and black already has a bite on f3 with this pawn in white's half of the board. So black is doing it actually very well here, it seems. Black hasn't given up any material and has a real bite into white's position, whereas white is defending. So how to continue the attack on f3? I was expecting something like knight at here, but let me see. Why did he not have time to do this? In this position, this is defended, this is defended. Was there no time to go knight at h4 here? But instead, he did this. And now this pawn, I see. So this pawn falls as in a trade of pawns, and he has now got an attack on g2. I wonder about knight at h4 instead. Okay, but still you can see black has just a very simplistic view. Black has a piece in white's half of the board, white still doesn't have a piece in black's half of the board. Very naive analysis. Okay, but there's a threat of at e7 from white. I don't. The problem is black could go rook b8 to try and chase that queen away, or go in straight in for an attack. Oh, and Mixu has some information about the gambling for this match. Apparently, 321 flowers were bet on terra87 and 98 on mathace. That's interesting. So this is going too quickly for me. Yeah, I'm going to have to apologize to you guys. So queen b4 was played. White takes the knight and allows this fork, and then throws in a check, and he wins back the queen, but he's going to be losing that rook at the end of the day. Oh, he doesn't take the queen at all. He goes straight in for the attack. Takes. He's not taking the queen. He's just going straight for mate. So very aggressive play from mathace. He's going to pick up the queen, and the question is his own king safe? With at e7 will be coming. So really interesting actually there from mathace. I think that's a really high quality move, saying actually if I take the queen, I'll need two moves to get out. I'll have to take my knight out and then attack again. So not even taking the queen. Impressive. Now, why was rook takes pawn a problem? I think rook takes pawn is a problem because queen at e8. You have no rook drop for f8. I'm not sure how that line continues. I don't know if you can afford queen takes f7. I'm not sure if there's anything there. So whose attack is this? Is the kind of situation whose attack is faster? You don't want to walk into knight takes bishop check particularly if you can avoid it. So why didn't he just back off? King g8. Well, I guess this is still okay. I think black is still winning this. He has another pawn for g2 if the queen ever moved, and if the queen doesn't move, this is going to be crushing. So, but white's only idea is takes, and so on. He's trying to use up black's pawn. I think you don't use the pawn. Use anything but the pawn. The pawn is powerful, I think, because the pawn is what you're going to use to mate. Having said that, you're probably winning a queen. But hi there, Zaraza. Great to see you in the stream. So I think the only problem also is time. Only 20 seconds left. Oh, he just backs off. What? That's brave. So he's going queen e7. I must go king g6 because otherwise queen takes rook is mate. But that's brave. King g6. Oof. That is certainly brave. I think he's okay. This is a problem. I think again he can take because pawn takes queen. I think he can take it because pawn takes queen comes back with a counter check. So knight takes bishop is. He's going for the double check. The double check. This is so cruel. Queen comes in and queen comes into a mate. What a swindle. Unbelievable. And Flourish says, is this the first game? It is indeed the first game. Oh, that was an unbelievable swindle from terra87. I mean, completely losing, for sure. And just to see what's going on here, we have this white pawn advancing already to e5 and mathace, with what must be opening theory, already winning that knight in the center of the board. So mathace already a piece up as white. And hi there, Abhijit, in the Twitch chat as well. I feel like mathace looks well prepared. Yeah, he should never have allowed the double check. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly the defense was, but Terra did take the first game. Abhijit. So Ogul1 in the Lichess chat saying mathace is the goat of this variant. Well, he's been playing this variant a long time for sure. But so has terra87, I believe. A-Boss says, don't try this opening in normal chess. Yeah, I mean, I think white is crushing here. I mean, white was already crushing with being a piece up. And now... It does look... He's created this weakness on f7. It doesn't look very... He just needs a pawn to mate. Where's he going to get the pawn from? He doesn't want to take this one because then the bishop comes back and defends. So maybe take this pawn and then hope you're not mated in response. That seems to work. Pawn takes pawn. That seems very good, in fact, because you're threatening queen takes queen. Oh, but he can just go queen takes queen, king takes queen, and then at f7 to defend. So it's not so straightforward. There are also moves like this. Yeah, that's what he's doing. So now you can't just drop a pawn to defend. Not so clear how you defend. Because this square and this square are both maybe bishop at e8. Oh, yeah. You don't want this to come with check. Okay. So just backs off. But no blockers. So he's going to have to, if any check, you're just going to use the knight as a blocker. Floris says, not sure he wanted to give up c2 like this. Okay, but is there any defense? Bishop at e8 might defend. What else? How else can you possibly defend f7? Because any blocker... Yeah, actually a blocker might also work, because you can't just take it. So a blocker along this f-file might also work. Yeah, so he's actually got choices. Do I go bishop d8 or do I go a blocker here or here? Yeah, and that's what he does. He goes for the blocker, and now goes for the pawn, and now he's going to go for a second blocker on f7. Or this, but just knight here. He's still going to have to do something about f7, because that's a mate threat. And now he's only got a pawn, so how do you defend f7? He has to go at f7. So at f7 is coming next, whatever happens. And the question is, oh, I was surprised he didn't use a blocker. Oh, this is uncomfortable now. No, this is really uncomfortable because queen can take the knight now. He shouldn't have allowed that. Suddenly, like, Terra's swindling another game somehow because there's this check. Like, white is sort of short of material to finish this game off. Because there's this check takes knight here check, but you don't have a second pawn, so it's no good. But simply knight here seemed fine. He must have been afraid of something. So he's just going for the mate in one threat. Ah, that knight check is annoying. King has to come back. You can do a discovery if you want to. You could go, for example, knight here, check, and queen takes knight. How annoying is that? Oh, he doesn't do that. That would have been quite pretty, I think. That check and just simply pick up the knight for free. But okay, he's doing something else. And okay, eventually he decides, I'm just going to make my king safe. And it looks like black has just up a lot of material, basically. Queen takes bishop, knight takes, yeah, exchanging queens, just up so much material. White's got nothing in hand. And an unsafe king. So I think we can call that another swindle, actually. Because white was looking very promising in that position. Like looking from white's perspective here, queen here. Okay, just looking in this position here for a second with the stockfish. Because this position I don't think is going to come up again in the match, so I think that's a reasonable thing to do. So this, yeah, apparently this isn't so good. This isn't so good for white. Yeah, it looks good because you're one pawn away from mating your opponent, but not good enough. But if you just go back to the opening, obviously this I shouldn't turn stockfish on for the opening, but just you can see without the opening, white's basically up a clean piece for a pawn and has good activity. I mean, yeah, this can't be so bad. Yeah, it's +3 in the opening. But okay, I shouldn't say too much about openings because it's a live match. And the opening might repeat. So, okay, game 3. We have another London system. We saw mathace very strong in the London system, actually, from that first game. Played it very well. So he's taking the center. Yeah, good control. Oh, but he's hanging. Terra is hanging that bishop on h4. Takes. So black is doing well here. Black is doing well, it seems. You've got to take the rook. Bishop at e6 comes and you block. I still think you take the piece though. So white gets a little bit of an attack, but okay, in terms of material, wow, okay, he doesn't want to take the free piece. That seems strange, and he's not defending e6 as well, so he's just going straight for his counterattack. I'm not sure if that's correct. Hi there, Oppa. London, nice opening. Yeah, he should have taken the rook straight away instead of this, I would have thought, but So he's not getting quite as nice a London as he got in game 1. So well played, Terra. Yeah, no, this is still interesting though. So this pawn is falling now. Intermezzo. Getting more coverage on his light squares. Okay, interesting. Yeah, he must have been afraid of at e6 coming. So Opera in Disguise says that Terra, as the FM, is trying to play controlled Crazyhouse and keep it more chessy. Ah, okay. I didn't know Terra was an FM, but that's not surprising. And avoid complications. Okay, so hopefully this bishop still takes on f4. So this is still strong, and this is check, so you can take second time. Takes, but it's very well defended. The knights are all defending it actually. So it's defended 3 times, so there's no point taking it. Oh, but so you could take, and the queen is defended by the bishop. I'm surprised he didn't take the rook first and then do that, but I guess now this is a threat. Ooh, I'm getting a shaky board syndrome. What do I do? I'm just going to refresh. Refresh the stream. Okay, I'm not quite sure what's causing this, but I'm gonna hang up from Discord in case it's an internet glitch. This is very strange. Okay, so just to what happened here? This is really weird. What's happening here? My whole board is just shaking. Okay, let's just try flipping the board twice and see if it goes away. It's just okay. So where were we? We were here with this very interesting position where terra87 goes for the queen sack with this threat of at e7. Okay. Now this is just to try and deflect the knight, so h6 is no longer a problem. That's interesting. And then takes the bishop, and e7 comes, and takes here and gives up the queen. So they've both given up the queen. He doesn't want to take the bishop because he was afraid of some kind of cookie crumb up the board. And he doesn't even take back the queen because if you take back the queen, knight at h6 and knight takes f6 was actually a mate with 2 knights, a bishop, and a queen. Guys, I do not know what is happening here. Is my connect? This is just some issue with Lichess, I'm afraid. And I want the dimensions of the board to be a certain amount to fit the screen, but maybe that exact dimension is causing the trouble. Okay, this is not good. Okay, I'll take that out of the way. Oh, I just saw there's also Lichess chat as well, and all kinds of exciting things are happening, and I'm missing them all. Marlon's saying, can't both look at the board and commentate on the phone? Yes, it is a struggle. So we see mathace very low on time. I'm going to have to just look at the last. What is going on? This is just a confusing move to confuse the opponent. Okay, maybe it's a connection issue at my end. So that's quite possible. So this looks essential, so that we've got at least a threat. Pawn takes bishop seems essential. Takes, and pin it. Oh, you don't have time to pin it because it's check. I think you have to take it though. Otherwise you block, or you could block the file somehow. An entire sleeve says, have I tried turning it off and on again? It seems to have stopped. I don't know what was causing it, but I think it's like the exact dimensions I chose were an issue. I don't know what. Okay, trying to deflect the knight and then take on f6. I'll go over the last few moves of this game again, just because. So mathace is trying to do something with low time. He doesn't have that much. It's just a rook in hand to mate with. I mean, think about it. mathace only has 4 pieces, 3 rooks and a bishop, and now just 3 rooks. But he has a mate threat. He has a mate threat with those 3 rooks. So I'm imagining knight f3. Just, yeah. Defend the mate threat. Okay, now he has a knight. There might be ideas now, somewhere. Oh, yeah. That's an interesting move. He's got another rook. He's like, please, I want a piece other than a rook. So he's going to take here maybe, and he wants a bishop and a rook. Ugh, no time, and I don't think he has anything. Okay, so where were we? Because this was like really interesting position, and we were up to this point here. King sidestepped, queen dropped, knight h6 came anyway, and because f7 is defended, there's now no smother threat. Because rook takes, you can't go knight takes f7 smother because the queen is, so that's the point of this queen drop, was to defend f7. He tries to deflect the queen, so he loses his queen, and now suddenly this is a smother threat idea. He takes here. So now white's got 2 queens to try and mate, but no obvious, like queen here, there's no obvious follow-up check after queen at g7, so just took another pawn. Now black's going to try and mate, but black doesn't have very many pieces. And that's where we got up to in the game. He takes a pawn, puts the pawn down, and this is what we saw live in the game. So it's just black just out of pieces, basically, because he'd sacked the queen for defense. Okay, so that was, so terra87, laying it down, 3-0. So now we're into game 4. And we have a French defense, and Marlon in the chat saying, it's not a French defense. Yes, it is a French defense. Saying that if there's going to be a comeback, mathace has to start here, which is true. Notice e6 really weak. So again, I think white's doing really well here. Having said that, black also has interesting ideas. He's got this open G file. So the king is not that unsafe in the center of the board with all of these bishops around it, but obviously the pawn structure is really wrecked. Knight takes e6, exactly. You're trying to take away these defenders around the black king, as Flourish says. But he decides to block this G file first, then takes and is hitting the queen, so now you can save his knight next. Oh, please don't start again. So he loses his knight, but now what? Where's the rook going? Rook here? But what's the plan? Rook here, just going to put another bishop. It's just going to be the bishops defending. Hi there, you so rude. He said, I'd say black is winning. Black definitely winning now. Oh yeah, definitely. Why? Because he's up a lot of material, isn't he? He's got his pawn structure is completely wrecked, but white doesn't have the yeah. These bishops are great defenders, basically. I'm not sure if there's something. Yeah, I'm not clear if what white did wrong, but Marlon says, is queen e1 ever good? Well, it's bringing the queen a little bit closer to the king, I guess. Zara says, the difference is 100 rating points, but mathace is much weaker in the game. I think she means in the middle game, because, yeah, as we saw in the first two games, I mean, mathace was basically, well, maybe he wasn't, he was definitely winning game one, he was doing quite well in game two, but when it comes to the middle game, and especially in low time, yeah, Terra seems to be a much stronger player. Yeah, so they're both very experienced players. Now, what's happening in this position? We saw black going for that pawn on c2, and pawns are useful for black to try and fix some holes in his position. Yeah, so the reason why black's doing so nicely is he has so many pieces in hand to do stuff, basically. And this is a potential future hole if you can ever chase this bishop away. Okay, it's going for something else. So, I mean, black has to be careful about the g7 square. That's the kind of hole in his position. I mean, he's lucky that... I mean, rook takes bishop, bishop takes rook at h8. I mean, that looks actually suddenly like white's got ideas coming now, which shouldn't have been allowed. Or am I wrong? White's going for a much slower approach, but rook takes bishop, bishop takes rook, rook here. What's the defense? I guess the bishop is still covering f8, so you could. But I don't know. It doesn't. I don't understand. Rook e3 just feels unnecessarily slow. But yeah. So now he could do something like, yeah, exactly. Now you can just block up the file, and the opportunity's gone. Completely gone. Notice this bishop is doing an amazing job protecting the key f8 square. Very important piece here. Oh, that's a nice little move there. Not enough, but interesting. Bishop takes knight. Remember, he's still got these squares under control. So rook here, you can still block here, for example. Doesn't look pretty, but it works. Okay, he's grabbing a pawn maybe for h7. Okay, rook comes back. Ouch. Bishop takes queen. You don't want to give up a queen with check. So yeah, white's completely lost. So you could go bishop here just to stop the king running away. But no follow-up. Okay. So a slight switch up from terra87, this time bringing his bishop out to g5, which is provoking either h6 or f6. And the idea of that is you want to create a little bit of a weakness on g6 sometimes. But not so easy to attack this weakness for now, but maybe at some future point you try and get a knight over to f4, maybe, trade off these bishops, and start plugging away on the king side. So the idea here is also this, and it might even give up the rook for a knight at some stage. Oh, that's also a very nice move. So this is a brilliant example of a dual purpose move. You're defending g2, but you're also attacking e6. And e6 is a really weak square in black's position, so that's a really nice move. And you probably have to either bring the queen in or bishop f7 to defend. Yeah, so queen e8 looks good. Unless there's some kind of sack. Oh, there's an earthquake. Okay, I'm sorry about this, guys. I don't know why this is happening. Okay, so what actually happened was queen e8, knight b5, so he went knight b5, f5, knight takes d6. So white is hunting for material, and notice you can always go this if you ever want more material. So it's kind of, this rook here is kind of, if I ever need a knight for my attack, it's on demand. A nice fresh knight available whenever you want one. So at the moment, white looks like he's doing quite nicely. He's got this 4 big pieces, 4 minor pieces, but 4 strong pieces around his king, as well as 3 pawns. It's all very solid and hard to penetrate. Maybe a little bit stifling, actually. But yeah. So maybe black can do something. So those pieces are quite cramped in a way. So maybe there is something that black can do to take advantage of that. So he takes the knight. That's interesting. Why not take the pawn? Ah, okay. So he's going for this pawn. Okay, so black has ideas. And we see why the king sidestepped, because now we don't have knight at e2 check. So this is actually quite uncomfortable, because there is still pawn at e2 if you want it. And if you had a second pawn, you get pawn at d2 as well. So starting to look a little bit uncomfortable. Knight takes bishop might also be an idea. So black's got lots of material on demand. Okay, he takes a pawn. Now why would he do that? Oh, okay. So his argument is that's a free pawn. Okay. That's risky. Oof, this is risky. He has to take this or he's losing the queen. But now queen is landing, pawn is landing and promote. So he might have just fallen for something. Queen here, king back. If you had a pawn, this would be dreadful. If without a pawn, it might also be dreadful because of rook at e8. Rook at e8. You can't block or this is mate, so you have to take it. But if you take it, you're mated with a bishop. King goes back, queen takes blocker. So Yuso Rude, as you just said, it's just winning for white. But I think black was doing okay for a long time. So like even I'd say in this position, I didn't recognize it's completely winning for white. Yeah, it's kind of level. And if you just go back a few moves here, white is white's got a lot of defenders, but he's quite cramped. He can't really. He's got no piece in hand. Can't really do much else. There's all these pieces around his king. Can't do much about it. So that's why the engine's suggesting rook f7, rook g1. He can't really make any progress. Knight b4, queen b3, and sacking here. Queen takes d3 at e4. Anyway, it's unclear. Clearly unclear. But very just walks into a mate, which is terrible. Okay, so game 6, we see another little switch up in the opening, and again, white looks very nice in the opening. Mathace, great opening player, basically. He understands his openings. He's left this open. Unclear if you want to go for it or not. But there's no obvious reason why not, because black doesn't have a bishop to put on c3. So we're going to see a sack on f2. I mean, this is just... Oh, we're not. That's incredible. So what I was expecting was bishop takes pawn, knight takes pawn. Bishop, yeah, I guess it doesn't work. Bishop takes knight, rook takes. There's not enough control to go for the sack. You don't control the square for a knight drop. But you could have got, so if you go bishop takes pawn, knight takes pawn, pawn here, and push. Yeah, that was an interesting line. Bishop takes pawn, rook takes pawn though. But then the rook is pinned. Okay, so bishop takes pawn. I still think that was interesting, but okay. Maybe it wasn't anything. Oppa says some are more often lost and some simply outclass their opponents. I mean, mathace is a strong player. I mean, he's got nice ideas, but he's just making like critical mistakes in critical positions. This is a nice little idea he's found here. Picking up the queen for 2 pieces, it's not bad. Although, not clear what the follow-up is, with just a queen in hand. And Yuso says, I don't understand why he didn't play bishop at g4 instead of h5. Yeah, I've lost. Sorry, I didn't see that. Yeah, in the last game. Yeah, sorry, I lost the bishop at g4 instead of h5. Yeah. Yeah. So you can't take on f6, notice, because of this check picking up, so the pawn is defended by the fork. I'm expecting some more trickery. But it's not necessarily the best move, but it's just an idea in the position. Why not line up your bishop with the opponent's queen and king? White just has a queen in hand. That's the main problem. So yeah, White's doing fine at the moment, but he's going to have to come up with some play. So he dumps the queen on the board. That's looking good. Hi there, Zixon. Pawn at g7. And says this is shaky with queen at g7. Yeah. Yeah, pawn at g7, even like dumping the queen on h8, that kind of thing. Yeah. Hi. Yeah, so he's found something, clearly. So he's now got these 2 queens. What can he do to... He needs something. So queen, yeah, sort of idea is if you can get a knight, then queen takes e5, knight, queen takes e5, knight at g7 was mate. Oh my, queen takes e5. Hang on. Queen takes e5. Yes, threatening. Queen takes e5 is check. You have to take it or you have to block. You have no blockers. My goodness, there's no blockers. So you just have to take it, and then knight at g7 is mate. What a miss! My goodness. Gosh, this is why you need to be commentating Zixon, not me. Okay, so takes here, rook here. So still, but black's just short of pieces, but he can still block. Okay, and now Is there anything? I mean, also there's no rush because black doesn't have an attack. So just need to find sensible moves. Queen takes rook is too serious a threat, so you have to take it. Now we've got pawn, knight, bishop. He can block with the queen, for example. Have to take it. Now, okay, this is still defended for now, so it's still okay. Pawn at h7. Oh, you got to watch out. Rook takes, yeah, rook takes g2 is on the cards. So you have to block this g file. If you don't have a mate, you have to block the g file. Okay, or expend the queen. Oh, he could have dropped. No, you can't drop a pawn. Bishop takes pawn. Okay, he blocks the g file finally. Either the g file or block the diagonal. So takes, drops the queen. We're going to have another queen drop. Trade, trade. Queen, queen, trade, trade. Let's just try and catch up some time. Oh, you don't want to draw. This is ridiculous. Yeah, so Terra's very happy for a draw. So I don't know why Terra's the one thinking. Mathace is just doing this to pick up some time, not because he actually seriously wants a draw. Why? Why is Terra avoiding the draw when a draw suits him perfectly? I don't understand it. Yeah, Terra doesn't want to draw. He's just going for the win. Flora says, respect to Terra, going for the win. Russian School of Chess. This is looking uncomfortable. Like, why is this looking uncomfortable? Like, white should be completely winning. But, okay. That's actually a good move. you have to reinforce the diagonal in these sorts of situations. But then, yeah, you can reinforce. It's fine. It is safe to reinforce. Takes, 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 takes is good. And just take sure you don't get mated. It's a mate threat, subtle mate threat. My goodness, this is hard work. What is going on? Okay, he's going for queen takes bishop. It's a threat. Oof, the queen is coming on h2, but the king takes knight. He's still safe. Again, white should have this, but does he? Oh, it's mate. King here, queen takes bishop. Boom! Terra takes it, 6-0. Unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable because Mathace had so many promising positions. I mean, just even a position like this, if it's turn the engine on. Okay, so white is not crushing in this position. Although it thinks a bit longer. And it likes white, but it's not as if white's crushing. And then earlier when they were kind of going for this draw nonsense, like this position, I'm sure white's winning here, but let's see. No, not so clear. Not so clear at all. Just a slight edge. But yeah, as Abhijit says, strong performance by Terra. So c takes d6 is the only move that's winning. I wasn't even thinking about this. But, because then you've got a pawn for h7, which is annoying. Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that. I thought, you got a knight, 2 bishops, and so on. Yeah, but it makes some sense, I guess. And yeah, this square is covered by the rook, so yeah, white's attack is faster. Tharish is asking, when is Clearcast against Finisher? Yeah, that will be happening at some point. But okay, if we go back, I'm sure there's there's the mate Zixon pointed out, of course, which is very nice. Here, just Queen G takes E5. And it's check, and you have no blockers, so you have to take it, and knight G7 is mate. Pretty bad missing a mate in 2, but I think I missed it as well, so here E takes D5 with the, what's the threat? The threat is simply at H7. You're threatening of taking a rook and putting a rook here. Yeah, black's got nothing in hand. Like, how can black win this with no pieces in hand at all? How does he do it? Like, all you can do is block. Bishop takes G6, threatening mate, and then at H7, for example. Then you're getting a rook for D8. But okay, this is how do you swindle this with no pieces in hand? You somehow win one of the queens. Here, queen takes G6 is strong apparently. Just give away both the queens, and then black only has queens in hand. So rook at C8, he has to defend with the queen, because if he goes king F7, bishop at G8, I mean this is probably getting mated. I don't see the full line, but bishop at G8, king to G7, bishop at D4 check, just blocks. What's the idea? It's somehow not completely obvious. Bishop at D4 check. But he doesn't have blockers is the problem. Just takes here. So we're threatening something like rook here, king here, and then no. What's the threat? If we do nothing, what's the mate? It's still not completely obvious, but knight at E8, pawn here, promote. Okay, so not completely obvious. But the point is black has no material, so it's really difficult position. But what happens in the game? Queen at E8 comes, queen at D8, and suddenly it's not so bad. Weird. So queen takes rook was somehow better. Just win the free rook. Because otherwise white has this rook on the board, and this rook is now suddenly a menace. So that's why maybe this is like the key moment in the game. Take that rook. And then black has no threats. Sure, he's got 2 queens in hand, but then you can use your minors to get the queen back at some stage. So it's nothing completely. Rook at C8. If you defend with the bishop, then bishop at F6. And if you're defending with the queen, okay, sure, you're getting the queen back now, but there's no really dangerous threat. There's no threat on the white king, so that's why this is so strong. And it turns out we have mate, so that's also good. Knight at H8. Here, bishop, and another bishop, mates. Okay, so amazing play from terra87, fighting back from lost positions in several of those games and winning 6-love. So yeah, we're looking forward to Clearcast against the finisher in round 5, and Mugwort against Marioton also. So and the candidates will begin in around mid-August. So that's what's. Let's see. If I go to sheets.google.com. And we're looking forward, by the way, at like 1:30 in the morning UTC will be the next Crazyhouse 960 game, and I might stream that. And if I play tonight, also that's also a potential game. So just going to try and zoom this one out. So this is a nice little table made by Legion Destroyer. Hopefully you can see on the screen. Yep, looks like it's all on the screen. Nice. So we have candidates: Katask, Dog Answer, Variants Only, Bugzilla, Jan Lee, the winner of Mugwort and Marioton, the winner of the finisher and Clearcast, and the winner of Zixon and Schwanet, who was Zixon. Amazing. performance, Zixon. Congratulations. I mean, because that was like 6-0 against Schwana. It was an amazing game. So what we have just now is we saw terra87. Where are you? Terra87 has just beaten mathace and now faces Little Plotkin. And the winner of terra87 against Little Plotkin faces Pepperloo, who just went through this morning after a forfeit win against Valandia. So, can you see that on the screen? On the screen. So terra87 against Little Plotkin, and we can expect that match to happen very soon, I think, because both players are very active on Lichess, and the winner of that will play Pepperloo. We can expect that to happen very soon, and the winner of that will face the loser of Mugwort against Marioton. So we should have that all cleared up quite soon. Yeah, so more exciting action. Now maybe I'll just scroll through this just a little bit more slowly so you can see the rest of the. If you win round 9, you're into the candidates. So we've got Antic against the winner of Garnek and either Fumitox or T-Cubes. Realistically, Fumitox is the big favourite to win both that and the match against Garnek. So we're likely to see Fumitox against Antic into round 9, playing the winner of Burp Cow against Master Tan, Morlock, Retarded Platypus. One of those three. Again, of those three, Master Tan probably the favourite to emerge from this, but who knows. And then Alduto faces Mahfouz or Vani, that's scheduled. And that will play against Lucas JF, I think is through against not Jan Lee, and the winner of that has to play the winner of Alduto. Yeah, so a long sequence, but at the end of the day, you have to play Blitz Bullet. So good luck with that, guys. Realistically, Blitz Bullet is going to be playing the winner of Bughouse Knight against. Yeah, that's going to be tough. Spinal Tap or Jeremy Durham or Mini Great. And 264 Brock is playing the winner of Kureka Chess Champ, and it's not here, but Kureka Chess Champ and Pawn in Training are scheduled, and the winner of that is playing the winner of Pepsi and the winner of Tornon against ASAP, and the winner of that match is going to play 264 Brock. So again, who knows who emerges from that, and the candidate will be the winner of that match against what we just witnessed right now. terra87, Little Plotkin, Pepperloo, and the loser of Marioton Mugwort. And finally, we have another candidate in the Schwanet bracket. So it could be Schwanet or Atamek or John Stuckey or Tsume or Esken or KJJL, who's had a wonderful run, KJJL. 2 upsets in a row, beating Simba and Crazy 8. But Schwanet will have to face all of these guys, one of these guys, or the loser of G, or one of Clearcast and the finisher. So okay, hugely competitive. So that's and then for Crazyhouse 960, Abhijit is playing now. Amazing. Okay, let's go do some Crazyhouse 960. That is awesome. Okay, awesome. Good luck, Abhijit. Thanks for the link. We're going to stream some Crazyhouse 960. How exciting. Safeking has won game 1 already. Is that true? Nine plus 9 casual. I mean, ideally, guys play rated, but not. There's no. We're not making it. It's a friendly league, so we're no rules about this. So, okay, let's just quit. So, Safeking was white in game 1. Develops his bit. Something going wrong here. Where are all the pieces? Let's see. Let's maybe look at live TV of Abhijit. Okay, let's look at the live action. Okay. Okay, f3 develops the bishop. Develops, takes the knight, pushes the pawn, takes, queen trade. So you can't castle, but watch out, because there's a mate threat Abhijit has here. He defends the mate threat, okay. Okay, so this is the current position. There's a hole here, but it's defended, very nice. There's a hole here. What? Oh yes, the hole here, but it was defended, okay. So now it's black to move, okay. And I'll try and, I should really commentate on previous action, just in, or I have to trust that that Abhijit is not still in the stream. Yes, I'll commentate on previous action just in case, so that I'm not interfering with the live action. We see so many people watching this: Tashak, Morlock, Joanna Tries, Pepe. Oh, really interesting. So I'm going to commentate more after and just enjoy action. Yeah. So Zixon says the second game is live. If you want to, exactly. I'm in the second game. And Zixon says, and they are playing way too fast for 9+9. Yep, they are. And I'm gonna sort of, because it's a live match, it's sort of I want to keep my comments as general as possible, more explaining what has happened already rather than just because I don't want to interfere. So notice that there were no knight checks on this king, or no obvious knight checks on the king. So that's why he castled. So black is trying to keep check. It looks like it's Safe King's first game on, and because the block was on f3, that means the check still came in because of the pin. So white has to figure out, is there a safe place for his king? I'll go back and look at the first game, and so notice if the king had gone to g1, and I'm focusing on commentating on past action, so that if players are in the Twitch, they won't be distracted. They'll just be distracting themselves, so it wouldn't help them at all. So if king g1, notice that there was at f2 and rook g1 mate, so he went the other way, which makes a lot of sense. And now he's got another decision to make, where to put that king. He goes down. I think he does that to defend his bishop. Because of course if he went to d1, there was rook takes bishop. Black is getting more material for the attack. And if you come up, that was also feasible, but then there would have been knight here check, king here, and pawn here is looking very close to mate. So knight there check, king would have to come here. So it doesn't look like it's mate immediately, just it looks very scary. Knight here check, if you're coming down. So pawn here check, king here. Yeah, I can't see a mate, but it was definitely scary. Was there a mate if you went up? So knight here, king here, knight here. If you step up, then you're getting mated, I think, with this and this. And again, I can't see it, but it's never good with your king in the center of the board. Now, ooh, this is actually really interesting. So black is going for it, but by going for it, yeah. Meaning if white can defend, notice white has a whole army in his pocket. So if white can defend, if white can survive, then he does have chances. So that's why black is under actually some pressure to convert. Okay, that's not a check, so that's good news for white. But there's a threat of a check. So it looks like black's run out of a little bit of steam. And white's got a decision whether he goes straight for the attack or whether he first defends. So safe king, yeah, he looks like playing this quite aggressively, just going for the kill, as it were. But it means he's run out of steam somewhat. If I just and Abhijit goes for abunickabhi. Abhijit goes for the defense. It seems like a wise decision. The attack continues. Excellent move from safeking. He just knows he has to keep on plugging away. He has to try and make something happen. So while they are now suddenly thinking, which is great. So while they're thinking, I'm going to just play through these first few moves again. Just a little bit more slowly, just to have a little more thinking time. So this game escalates so quickly because there's a queen trade and because this is a weak and this is weak. So it really escalates quickly, and it looks like black is the one in danger with that queen trade. But black never gives white a chance. So probably at this point here was critical. Queen here keeps the attack going. And so queen here would have meant that white maintained initiative in this position. So this was a critical point. By going bishop here, black maintains initiative, but is it wise? So he's played a kind of more defensive. Okay, bishop at h1. Obviously not a pretty move, but maybe it does the job of defending. Takes, again. Okay, now he's allowed the check, but he's hoping there's nothing to it. So if black had a rook, then it would be very bad, because rook at e1 would be mate. Yeah, so you see that black got a lot of initiative because the queen sack was allowed, but maybe he was playing a slower game because he saw the queen sack was not solid. So good aggressive play from safeking, but what I've noticed in Crazyhouse 960, even more than in Crazyhouse, is sometimes an attack can run out of steam. And you see here black again, he's lost the check, and he does something very sensible, developing move, developing his bishop, covering f6. So again, white has a choice. With all these pieces in hand, two queens in hand, but squares around the king still quite well defended. So you could try and go for a slower approach, but no slow approach from Abhijit. He's going straight in. So it looks like he's going straight in for f7. So what's the follow-up? We're going to wait and see. Maybe we can look at some of the Twitch chat. Queen on the back rank, interesting. Yeah, Joanna Try says so aggressive and she loves it. White looks safe, but white has a lot of material. Yeah, it looks dangerous. It does look dangerous, but he's still safe. Okay, now look. Abhijit is just going for the same kind of combination that safeking went for. Okay, but now by doing that, he's given up the queen. So he's got to be careful. Because now, remember, safeking went for it all and then ran out of material. So let's see how things go. And so many comments on Pi Chess. This is amazing. This is more comments on Pi Chess than on Lichess. Okay, he's found it. Knight at h8. Yes, he's found that there is a check in the position. You have to be careful because there's no obvious check. The knight is covering the checks, but there is knight at h8, and he's found the check. Yeah. So safe king. Suddenly his king not that safe, because there are lots of checks in the position. Zixon says mate by assumption. Yeah, but you can never assume. I'm just, see, I don't want to, yeah. Because, so I'm glad to see Abhijit is not in the Twitch chat, so anything I say you can't see. He doesn't go for the mate, he just goes for safety. Well, that's smart as well, because that knight was threatening mate, queen at e1. What someone's saying would be funny if queen at e1 was mate. Yeah, rook takes f3, just very smart moves, just keeping things under control. I've got all the material, I'm not scared of your queen. That's very smart play, to be honest. But now you need to show you can play chess, basically, because if you don't find the mate immediately, then you need to prove you can play chess. Yes, Zixon says no knight f7 anymore, so now there's some work to be done because no knight f7. Yes, so what was the cleaner way of finishing this off in this position? Let's see if we can calculate it. What was a cleaner way of mating? So the king is cut off from the 7th rank. It's in the open. So pawn at c5 would have been natural with, if you just sidestep, queen here is mate. And if you take, queen here still comes, and rook takes, no, what's the finish? Why can't I not see the finish? Up, pawn here check, king here, pawn takes knight, block, knight here check. Okay, so I can't see the mate. Rook at e8 instead of rook at f7 was cleanest, I think. Says rook at e8. Okay, so just going back a move. Sorry for this. Wow, I can't do it. Back. Rook at e8. If you take it, oh, very nice. Then queen at f7. So you still come out. And now there's room for knight f7. Excellent, excellent. So knight f7 comes, and then the king goes to here or here, and the queen either goes there, checkmate, or if the king goes here, then queen here is checkmate. Wonderful from Zixon, of course. We expect nothing less from you. But okay, wonderful safety. Takes. Knight develops. Knight here. Takes. King here, and we're at the live position. But yeah, thanks Zixon for showing off your mating shoes. So the king is running back. So one idea would be maybe some kind of diagonal check, and queen here is mate. So diagonal check, takes, and then just simply pawn it. Just sort of cookie crumb up the board would be one way of dealing with this situation. So because you recognize queen here is mate here, and if you cookie crumb up the board, pawn here, king takes, queen here is mate. And the point is the bishop is covering all the light squares, so you have to stay on dark squares. Okay, but instead we have this, and the king has got 2 squares to run to come back, and he does come back. Coming here, there's the cookie crumb. So now I don't see anything. Obviously, white's completely winning, but I don't see any checks. Firefly sees something. Bishop at c5. Okay. Oh, yeah, in the previous position, king takes c5, d4, and then mate next. Yes, exactly. Either d4 or b4 is a cookie crumb mate. This is Joanna tries. It's great at coming up with expressions. So a cookie crumb is you drop these cookies to draw the king up the board, and then you mate him. Or you either push him back, you draw him up, then lay your own pieces pushing him back. So you lead a crumb, drawing him out in the open, and then you come back, putting on pieces with tempo. So there was a cookie crumb mate, but that was missed. And now, again, you've got to be a little bit worried. Black's amassing an army here, but still the white king's very safe. So but no completely obvious finish. King takes d4, queen at c3, king takes e4, rook f4, king d5, queen. Yeah, I mean, okay. So where's the mate here? Okay, I see the mate. Okay, so this is quite cunning. He's because there would be ideas of knight check here, forcing a clearance, and then almost surely a mate with a queen drop and a rook drop. The real Ganeja is high, so knight g8 is your suggestion in this position, I think. Knight g8, roi, king to d8. No, knight d8, king takes. Okay, I'm not following this line. Yeah, the move before. Sorry, there's lag. But the idea was knight g8, rook d8, knight d6. Okay, let's try and figure this one out. Knight g8. Yep. King here. Yep. Rook d8. Yep. Takes. 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 And dump your queen on f7 with checkmate. Exactly. Throw away this knight is in the way. Throw it away. I call it cast away theme in Crazyhouse. You throw away the knight and dump a queen on that square. Very nice. Knight g8. You cast it away with check, and queen f7 is mate. Very nice there from the real Ganejas. Nice. So instead, this was played. Takes the rook, and he's claiming he's still safe. And safe king, just going for it, you know? Like, plays very aggressive. Just going for it. Absolutely going for it. And Zixon says you don't even need rook d8 actually because of queen at f7, queen takes d7. Yeah. The key idea is the castaway. Okay, so again, safe king. It's just not that much material in hand, but just going for it. Just absolutely going for it. So fair play on him. Okay, and he doesn't see a mate, so he just tries to claim his king is safe. And Abhijit says your king is not safe. And he's going to now prove it. I think he's going to find it now. He's going to find the checkmate. Ah, two queens. No problem. Jeremy Doyle, yeah, must be mating now. Yes. Okay, so that was game two, and it's one game all between these two. Nice games. I mean, definitely now, says Jeremy. Yeah, sure. Um, yeah, I don't think Black had anything all game. To be honest, I think so. If I just run this through this is like local analysis. Oh, I'm not logged in. Okay, so log in. So I have these issues because I'm logged in on the mobile. Um, I need a new incognito. Oh, that's annoying. I just realized. Um, hmm. Okay, let's just. I just realized. I wonder if my screen was even correct this whole time. Okay, sorry about this. Let's just. I just realized my layout might have been all funny this whole time. Okay, I can't switch between. Okay, sorry. And let's go pychess.org. I should have checked I haven't been checking my layout this whole time, so I hope it was okay. Log in. Okay, hang on. Dark mode, obviously. Okay, that will do. So authorize. Sorry, it's a bit slow because I'm streaming, so it has to. So this is Crazyhouse 960, absolutely. Now, copy that address. It's on pychess.org. So I'll just post the game link that we're looking at. That was game 1, and then we were looking at game 2. Let's look at actually game 2 first, and we were looking from Abhijit's perspective. Okay, and how do we do this again? We go analysis board, and cross fingers this works because I'm streaming, so it might not. There's even a request analysis feature. Oh, okay, that's nice. And it kind of does a quick local analysis using our local engine. And I'm claiming that white was always winning this game. Black was really kind of fighting and hoping for a swindle the whole time. But yeah, so here, for example, there was a mate in 2 with, it says queen at b4, king takes b4, rook at b4. King takes b4, rook at b5 mate was a very pretty mate, for example, in this position. That's very nice. But I'm claiming that the whole game white is winning, and we're just going to see if the local engine agrees. And let's see also what people are saying in the chat. Blunderman 1 plays in 6 hours. Yes, I'll be streaming that, by the way. It's going to be 2:30 in the morning, my time. And 4:30 in the morning for Blunderman 1. And maybe I play tonight. I'm awaiting a response from G. Rogers, so it's possible even I play tonight. But I won't be streaming my own games because I find that distracting. Okay, so seems like the engine just got stuck, which is quite funny. But there was a point where black was winning in the game, and it was here. This is a weakness. Pawn at f2, takes, takes, takes. There's a trade of queens, and white is the one less safe. So that was the critical point where safeking was potentially winning. But I claim like the whole rest of the game, Abhijit is winning. So that was game 2, and now let's have a look at game 1. And because I'm streaming, as I said, it's going to run a little bit slowly. And oh, someone's done I thought it was local analysis. Okay, but someone's done the analysis already, and we see white is winning for most of the game, and then suddenly, whoa. Okay, so let's have a look at this game. So f3 develops the bishop. Sounds good. Knight here. Develop, develop. So notice the knight's in the corner, so taking the knight out from the corner makes a lot of sense. The knight now is facing the center. Very sensible. So he wants to do this sort of thing. Knight comes out. Very sensible setup. Bishop comes out. Bishop comes out. No, already this is nice for white because now you know the king can't castle kingside, so you can direct your forces towards the center and towards the queen side. He doesn't take though, so that's an opportunity missed. You could take, you get the initiative of playing first. Instead blocks. Yeah, that was maybe a missed opportunity. So this happens. He gets this setup. Takes, takes, bishop here check. Important to block. Stockfish likes this, I guess, because you don't want to waste your one pawn. In this position, I'd almost be tempted to drop a pawn, but I guess the concept is this square is actually very well protected, and there's no diagonal threatening this square, so you don't need to waste a pawn. And this is correct. So whenever you look at a position, you want to think where are weaknesses. And maybe this is a weak square. I'm already thinking this on this side, and for black, maybe these might become weak. I'm not sure. So if you can work in on the light squares. So that's just a general overall feeling. So engine likes castles queenside here for white. No piece is really attacking the queenside. But this looks good as well. Again, not castling. So this is the one weak square I'm a little bit worried about in white's position. And I'm really wanting to do this at some point if I had pawns in hand. So yeah, already eyeing this weak square. So this is clearly quite nice from white. Castles. Doesn't castle. Still goes for the attack. It's actually still very nice, actually. Look, the light squares are weak. And you have a bishop. Oh, this is gorgeous for white now. Okay, exactly. You're just hitting those light squares. Beautiful. Yeah, notice this square is a problem, though. So you've got to be careful. Okay, so takes. Okay, so you're losing a piece, but you're claiming I've got all this material in hand and I'm going to hit you on these light squares. Keep hitting on the light squares. That feels like a great move. What's wrong with that move? Engine likes queen b5 check, and there's no defense, basically. And so you've got a free piece, so that makes a lot of sense. So the problem with this move is it was hanging this fork. Knight at e3. Knight takes bishop comes with check, which is, and then bishop at e3 might come next, and so on. Yeah, so this came. Knight here check. Okay, so what's wrong here? So what's wrong is we want our knight to be on f6, not his knight. So, and his knight is guarding f6. So yeah, you really want to chase away this knight and get knight at f6 mate. Whereas this situation, you get knight, and then suddenly our bishop's here, and like our whole attack is one move slow. We have to move our bishop back again and put the knight back here. So this loses a tempo, basically, this knight here. We want to kick this knight and then put the knight here. So knight here, bishop, queen comes out, bishop here. And we're seeing a lot of, so takes, what's the continuation? So this seems fine. Takes, knight here. It seems actually quite good, because why can't you go takes, and then go for this checkmate? Maybe the problem is he can defend with tempo with knight at h5. That's the only problem with this idea. G5 came, and the problem with this is, yeah, the problem with this is you could take the rook and get pawn on g7, and I can't see a defense, honestly. Unless you're getting mated somehow. That would be my one worry. Yeah, queen takes rook. Yeah, but also queen takes rook, there's idea of rook at h8, king at, pawn at g7, king here, knight here, checkmate. So that's why queen takes rook's amazing. That's the real reason it's amazing. Because if just queen takes rook and pawn here, maybe there's some counter mate. Yeah, I'd be worried about queen here mating you. Yeah. So queen takes rook can't be taken because of rook at a8. That's the move here. So this comes. Uh-oh. Okay, check. Backs off. Just backs off. What did he need to do with his pawn and bishop? I'm not quite sure what. Like, I can't see black's threat. Like bishop at d4, why can't I just take it? There's something. The engine is seeing something which I can't see for black here. And I should be looking at it on Lichess to see what it's seeing. Oh, I see what it's seeing. There are moves like bishop here check, takes, knight here check, pick up queen. That's nasty. I think that's the problem. That's why bishop takes is so strong. The king can never come here. Like, I'm not sure exactly, but it's, yeah, there's something like this. So you can get actually control of this. You can never block it here because you can just take it. So then king would have to go to a dark square, and then on dark squares we've got. I still don't see why dark squares are so dangerous. But okay, knight just came back. Queen takes rook. What? I forgot I was looking from Safe King's perspective. Yeah, no. I mean, this. Oof. Yeah. Obviously, you can't take that queen, but okay. So what does black do here? So, because black. So yeah. So white was crushing the whole game clearly, but black did have chances. Black did have chances, but what were the chances? Yeah, so the chances were in positions like here, queen takes rook and rook h8 is a mate, but black's attack is faster with stuff like pawn at g2, castles queenside. I think, yeah. Maybe I think this is the most interesting position actually, even more than the. So I'm gonna take this position over and take it over to Lee chess. And maybe it's also instructive to show how you do that. Okay, so what you do is you take the fen here, and actually the best thing to do is to take the whole PGN and import it over to Lee chess as an import game. That's the best thing to do. But I'll just show you just how to do analysis board. So you go to analysis board Crazyhouse, and you type in the fen. But the thing is, on PyChess they use square brackets. So you have to replace the square brackets by a dash, and there we go. We have the position. So bishop takes e4. The point is, if you take back, yeah, bishop at f3 straight away, and the point is you can't take it because of knight e5 check and takes the queen. Okay, so we saw this. Although I was thinking I need to change to 3 lines. I think it's a reasonable amount. I was thinking bishop at g4, and that's just as good. Okay, good. But what if bishop at f3 and we simply go to a dark square? That's what I was worried about. Does knight takes e4? Okay. I'm just amazed that black is mating here. Like, why can't I just... Like, really? We've only got pawns in hand. How is this? Oh, yeah, okay, I see. We're controlling all of these squares. The king is in a box. Okay, I didn't actually see this. There's actually a wall here. The king is in a box. And if we try and run this way, at e3, run here. At d2, run here. At e2, run here. And here. Okay. so that, yeah, I mean, that's a difficult kind of concept. That the king is in a box. The king is in a box. I didn't see the power of this bishop with the reveals. If you ever get knight takes pawn check, bishop here, king here, knight takes pawn, even queen takes knight. Okay, bishop takes. You're covering the mate threat. That's amazing. Okay, so really difficult, but you're covering the mate threat, and now you've got a queen in hand, so it's all over. Queen takes bishop, and so on. King running away, otherwise this is mate. Okay, bishop at c2. He tries to hide on a3. Pawn here will work for sure, because he can't take it with the pawn because it's pinned. So he has to go king takes. Now we want a bishop to cover. We've got a bishop. That's convenient. So he has to strive up. And now I was thinking pawn at b6. Pawn at b6 is mate. Good. Okay. So yeah. So white should have won this game by right, but there were cleaner ways of doing it. With queen takes rook, knight takes, rook at g8, king, pawn drop, king here, knight at f6. And actually, white gave some chances by dropping the wrong pieces on f6, basically. By dropping diagonals on f6 when he wanted to kick away black's defenders and drop knights on f6. Okay, and then nice win in game 2 from Abhijit, basically just winning the whole game. And that happens in Crazyhouse 960. You go for the attack and you don't have enough material. It happens much more often in Crazyhouse 960 than in Crazyhouse. So you have to be a little bit careful about not sacking and going all in. It's a little bit more chess-like in that way. You have to, organize your pieces, get them out, develop, which slightly more so than in normal Crazyhouse, where the pieces are already harmonious, they're already working together. In Crazyhouse 960, you sometimes have to work harder to get your pieces working, as it were. Okay, cool. I'm very happy to cover these games, Abhijit, so yeah, thanks for playing while I was streaming. And good luck in future weeks. Cool. And I can show quickly where things stand. So these are the entrants for Crazyhouse Season 960, and So we have some really top names: Mugwort, Legion, Destroyer, Clearcast, and Fumitox on board 1. And just showing the cross tables quickly. This is the week 1 action that we can look forward to, and the match we will be streaming in the middle of the night will be Blunderman 1 against Astavakra. So I'm hoping to stream that in the middle of the night. And the match we just saw was safeking against abunickabhi, and the players or people will be other members of the league will help put in those games, or the players themselves. So yeah, it's 1-1. Put a 1-1 here, but and add the game links at some point. Okay, so thanks everyone for watching. Good luck, Blunderman 1 later tonight. Should be fun. Okay, bye guys. It's been a fun stream. Have a good. I will see you later tonight if you're up in the middle of the night, and that might be my last stream for a while, but we'll see. Bye guys.